Hello, this is my Saab 9.3 daily driver and filming car, now known as the Shenaniwagon. Thanks, Growlblatt. I bought it to replace my broken Saab 9.3 and it too is broken. Whoops. In the last episode, we went over what was wrong with it, but that was ages ago, so let's quickly go through the to-do list. Inlet manifold, engine oil filter, fuel filter, bottom filter, air filter, piston pads, brake fluid, refurbished wheels, tyres, tinted rear windows, remap, and there'll be a cheap mystery modification. There's certainly a lot to be getting on with, so we'll start with the biggest ball ache on the list, the inlet manifold. It's broken, which seriously affects the vehicle's performance and general running, so until it's sorted, there's no point doing anything else. To the workshop. Let's crack on with this inlet manifold, and whilst in itself it's not too much of a complicated job, it's fiddly because we have to remove an awful lot of stuff. Javis is just doing the airbox assembly now. We've got to take off the EGR, we've got a load of crap at the back that's got to come out. But one of the first things we need to do is drain the coolant. This is because it runs through the inlet manifold, and if it wasn't drained, when it comes to removing the manifold, we'd find ourselves in a spot of bother with coolant pissing out everywhere, most likely directly into the engine. That is coolant out of the radiator. That should have brought the coolant to below the level of the inlet manifold at least. I mean, there's nothing more coming out, so we'll tighten that back up. I mean, we can lower the car and start work on unbolting the major bits. To get the inlet manifold off, we have to remove the timing belt cover, and this is because we need to rotate the engine to a certain point and lock it in position. And this is because in order to remove the inlet manifold, we have to remove the high-pressure fuel pump, which is driven via a pulley in the timing belt. The plan is to lock the pulley in position so we don't need to worry about messing up the timing of the engine. First problem you're going to have with a Saab, so as I said, we've got to remove the timing cover. This here prevents the timing cover from coming out. So the only way to do this is, I say the only way, is to remove the engine mount and then carefully move that. We're not going to bother with that. What we're going to do is the much quicker solution, and we're going to cut the timing cover just at the bottom here, and that will release it. Nice and easy, no need to remove the engine cover. Does it damage the timing cover? Absolutely. But does it save us hours of work? Absolutely.
Disclaimer, this wasn't my idea. But as you can see, just knock off the bottom of it and you can get it out.
Easy. That's 2 hours labour off the bill right there. We've rotated the engine and Javis is just tightening up those bolts which will hold the engine rotation in position, allowing us to remove the fuel pump. Javis just fiddling with some nuts. It's a funny joke. No one's laughing except me. Javis has just successfully undone the high-pressure fuel pump.
So now it should just slide out, like so.
With the high-pressure fuel pump removed, I can now show you why we have to do hours and hours of work and messing around. So to access a bolt that looks like this but isn't this, because it's hiding way under here, you have to take the fuel pressure pump out, and that allows us to get into that. But also, this stud here that the fuel pump sits on prevents the inlet manifold from coming off. So we had to take that out as well. So all of that work is simply to remove one stud and one bolt. Onto the last nut for the inlet manifold there. It looks like. Happy days.
What? This one?
Well done, mate.
There you go.
So after several hours, we have now removed everything that we need to remove from the car, and we can now remove the part itself, I think. There's a couple of things we need to worry about underneath. There is a actuator that activates the swirl flaps. We need to unplug that or whatever, but that's pretty much everything though, isn't it, Frank?
I would say so, yes.
Ready? Yes!
Victory is ours!
Straight in the bin.
Well done.
Oh, ain't too bad.
Tasty.
Well, that was an awful lot of effort, but finally we've got the inlet manifold off the car, and I thought I'd show you real quick why you would replace this and what goes wrong with them, because it's a very common issue on these engines in these cars. This is the new inlet manifold, fair enough, and you'll see As I turn this lever, those flaps open and close. They're what's known as the swell flaps. They are linked by a rod on the top here, and that all works as it should. Compared to the old one, as I turn that, you'll notice nothing happens except for this one, because we're missing the rod on the top. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, you just replaced that rod, happy days. No, because the swell flaps are made of plastic, and on the top, the mounting points wear away, so it won't matter if I get new rods on the top here, it'll just fall off. So you could blank off the swell flaps, I suppose, and get rid of them completely, but to do that, you have to take the manifold off. If you're taking it off anyway, just replace it, because that's how it was supposed to be. So that is exactly what we're looking for. Now we've just got to do the reverse of everything we've just been doing. So we'll jam this back on the car and hopefully it's going to run an awful lot better.
Yeah.
So we're roughly there. We're just going to have to
Come back a bit.
towards me. There.
Oh, hang on, we're missing something vitally important.
We are missing something vitally important. We nearly made a very important mistake, and I'm just going to point that out to the professional master technician there, because I was obviously aware of this, and I was just making sure Jav was on the ball. Fucking gasket, guys. Install the gasket. Now, I know it looks like a complete mess still, but we've very nearly finished the job. The manifold is back on, the fuel pressure pump is back in. Javis is just doing the airbox assembly and associated hoses. I'm going to do the EGR valve, that's going to go back on. I'll check in with you in a minute and we'll see where we're up to, but very nearly finished. Happy days. Right, I'm going to give the car a little test drive. So we'll reverse her out the workshop, and we shall see if our hard work has paid off. Test drive commence. That's absolutely perfect. That is exactly how a Saab diesel should drive. I'm really excited now because when I bought the car, yes, it was cheap, but I did think it was a bit slow. Have I made the wrong choice here? But no, we are all back up and running, and it's fantastic. I wasn't really going to bother doing the brakes. The previous owner has already swapped out the rear pads and discs. But for some reason on the front, whilst they did put new pads on, they left the discs on there, which have got, I don't know if you can see, they have got a horrible lip on them, and they are definitely fit for the bin. And I just don't understand why you would put new pads on horrible old discs like that. But anyway, as a result of these front discs not being to my standard, that's why we're doing all of the brakes all round, because then it all matches and we know that we're good to go. Here are the rear brakes, and I have messed up already because this is a vented disc on the rear. My previous Saab experience tells me that I need a solid disc, but obviously I don't because it's a vented disc. So I've got the wrong rear brake discs, so I'll be coming back another day for those. I was basing it on what I thought was valuable experience and wisdom, but obviously all of that means nothing and is bollocks. So. Right, because I buggered up on the rear brake discs, should we have a look at the front brake discs and make sure I've got the correct ones there? These are vented, fine, as are these. So it's really just down to the disc diameter. These might be wrong as well. Okay, we've got a new plan. We're going to put aside the discs and pads for now. We're going to do the brake fluid though, because we might as well make use of our time whilst we're here, and at least that's then done, and we'll come back another day and do the discs and pads. And so we'll do this, we'll get on with the other bits as well. Waste of time. I have been tasked with spraying the nipples. That is absolutely going to break. You watch, guys.
Oh, that doesn't feel great. Might actually even get a bit of heat on that. Yeah, that does not feel great. whole nipple. Look at the state of that. Just clean this up and see if we can fix it. If not, your car's staying here, mate.
Wow, all the brakes are f***ing wrong anyway. With our nipples cleaned up and tweaked a little, it's the joke that never gets old. But yes, with those now playing ball, we can set about the laborious task of bleeding the brake fluid. Yes, there are tools to make this easier, but we don't have them, so it's the old-fashioned pedal pumping method. The aim is to use the pedal pressure to push the old brake fluid out and then replace it with new. Time for a Javis Master Technician top tip.
So some of your viewers didn't know, you always start from the furthest point away from the master, so that would be the passenger side on a UK car, and then you work your way periodically from that side to the driver's side rear, then you work to the furthest away on the front, which would then be the passenger front, and then you do the driver's side, and you do it that way. You have to do it that way.
Why?
Because it distributes, it distributes the fluid evenly throughout the whole car, especially when you're pushing it, doing a full flush like this, and it's less chance of trapping air throughout the whole system, which is obviously the aim of the game, because put air in the system and it can be fatal, really. You can have no brakes and nobody wants that.
I think it's one of the biggest things people forget to do is brake fluids. Like, when was the last time anyone changed their brake fluid? And then wonder why the brakes are crap on their car as they plough into a collection of small children. Poor kids, you should have changed the brake fluid. Oh well. Are the nipples squirting effectively?
The nipples are lactating, yes.
It's quite easy being a mechanic, it turns out. You just sit about all day. And the work just happens, doesn't it, man? It's magic. I don't know how it works like that.
You've not seen them videos where people...
Well, it was very hard work for me, but I have done it. The brake fluid has been swapped. Javis helped a little bit there, I guess. Thanks for turning up. It might be time to put the kettle on, because I'm exhausted.
Fuel filter next, which should be straightforward enough. So we have to take this plastic cover off, which is via this Torx screw here, unplug the electrical connector, unscrew the filter, and replace. Very easy. Crap camera work. Oh, you sprayed me in the face. One screw removed. Master Technician. I have removed the cover. So we're just removing the water sensor, which is in diesel filters for these cars. And once that comes out, it will start leaking fuel indeed. Or it's definitely not staged. Okay. Once you've drained all 50 litres out of the tank, we'll be ready to go. No, not really. I'm not sure how much it is. Depending on the previous technician that's worked on this car, if they'd been nice to us, they would have put this filter on hand tight. Most people over-tighten them and they're an absolute arse to remove. And that's because the bracket it sits on is made of crap plastic and flexes. So if you go too hard with removing it, you risk damaging stuff further up. There it is. Nice. New fuel filter.
Yeah, and it breaks the universal joints in there, so... Oh, he's going for it.
Water sensor screwing into the bottom. It looks a bit crap, so I'm going to give it a quick clean up. There we are, that's much better, far more presentable, not that you'll ever see it. We're going to do a service item that a lot of people forget about, the cabin filter or the pollen filter. It filters the air coming into the car, and if you don't do it, they get pretty nasty. I've no idea if this has been done on this car, so we'll just do it out of good practice. It is somewhere, I think, under here, or it could be under here, but I think most likely this side. This can come off, there's just one little clip here, then underneath there's a secondary cover, which I think I'm going to give a little bit of a clean up to because that's pretty minging. And then underneath, there it is. That is our filter, and looking at it, I would say it hasn't been changed for quite a while, but we'll pull that out and have a little inspection. And cool, all right, so I think it's just these plastic tabs here. I can't quite remember this bit. Yeah, there's one, and then... Okay, yeah, that's cool, that's easy. Oh yeah, those two clips, and then look, that just pulls out. That's actually reasonably clever design. This is what I was saying earlier, people never change them, and look at the state of all of this outside world. Although it is amazing that if this filter wasn't there, all of this would come into the car. Oh gosh, yeah, there's a whole ecosystem in there, so it's just as well we're changing that, right? That just slots in nicely there, and that... It doesn't... Yeah, that phone... Yeah. Yeah, perfect. No worries. Happy days. Job done. Well, it's not a bad start to proceedings, is it? We've managed to tick off 4 items from the to-do list. Of course, there's still plenty left to do, including a speed-run oil change, which sounds exciting, doesn't it? So why not join me next time for some more Saab-related auto shenanigans? Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye. They're not sporty enough to be considered a good handling car, but they're not boat-like enough to be considered a nice, luxurious, comfy car, which basically means it's shit at everything.